Hola guys, welcome to another video. And in this video, I'd be ranting about AMD Radeon Software. I recently, well, not, it's been a while actually. I bought myself an AMD graphics card from Asus, the Dual Series RX 6600 XT. And yeah, if you're like me, it's been a while since my last AMD GPU. Mainly I use starting from the 20 series up until 30 series. I've been with NVIDIA. Well, 10 series actually. I started with the 1060, 2060, and 3070, 3090. So most of them are NVIDIA's. And the last AMD video card I had was with an IG integrated GPU or an APU. And back then, software for overclocking your graphics card or CPU is not really that uh, readily available, right? So now it's a different story though. And if you're used to using NVIDIA, you may have been using our all-time favorite MSI Afterburner, or for some people, you may be using the software that came along with your graphics card. Like for example, if you're using Gigabyte, maybe you're using Eoris to tune your graphics card, something like that. Anyway, opposed to NVIDIA's control panel, I find AMD Radeon software a bit more, you could tune it better, opposed to NVIDIA. And yeah, moving on, gaming, it's here, games. So here are the list of applications I configured this software with. Compatibility. So basically it shows you if it'll run with your system, something like that. I find this feature a bit obnoxious or laughable. Like for example, it'll show you if that particular game will run on your system. I have the 6600 XT, so it says it will run fine with the 5800X. It will run fine, but it'll actually recommend their flagship GPU and CPU, which is the 5950X and 6900 XT. So obviously it'll run with those cards, right? So anyway, record in Steam. I haven't really tried this still. Anyway, it's here if you need it. Maybe capturing your gameplay will be a bit easier if you use this one. I haven't really tried it still. At the end, of this video, I will record a gameplay of Control just to see how good it runs. All right, so uh, it, not until the end of the video. Anyway, live stream, it's here if you need it. I'm not really familiar with this one. I don't do live streams. Scene editor, well, it's here if you need it, if you know how to use it. Media, uh, anyway, it's here if you need it. Performance. Here are the parameters. It's metrics and tracking and overlay options and tuning. Actually, this is what I want to share with you guys. All right. So you're welcomed with global tuning if this is the first time you're opening the software. Global tuning basically it's about when you don't have any other applications launched, it'll default to global tuning. And basically, again, if you didn't launch any other profile and you randomly launch an application, it'll use this profile here. Whenever you're in your desktop with all the other applications closed, it'll default to this profile here. So that's basically what global tuning means. And Horizon Zero Dawn, like for example, if I launch Horizon, it'll launch this profile automatically. So this is the feature I specifically like. because it's much more consistent. Well, if you're used to using MSI Afterburner or Gigabytes yours tuning software, they also have profiles. You could launch profiles with them, right? Like in MSI Afterburner, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 profiles. You could rename them, but with this one here, I find it more consistent in launching the correct profile whenever you launch the corresponding application. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, so for example, this is Horizon Zero Dawn profile here. I only have the GPU configured for it. Let's go back to global tuning first. Global tuning system, default overclock custom. So default is when you choose system, it pertains to both the CPU and the GPU. Uh, Auto overclock, it'll overclock both the CPU and GPU automatically, or custom tuning. And CPU, me personally, right now my CPU's voltage curves configured into my BIOS. So I still prefer configuring my CPU overclocking in my BIOS opposed to Ryzen Master software. So, but if you're not having any problems with your temperature, maybe you could use this one as well. Anyway, it's here if you need it. But me personally, I still prefer configuring my overclock settings in my BIOS. And so I'll minimize this one and this one here as well. And for my GPU, for my global tuning, for my global profile, I just use the preset undervolt GPU. That's basically it. Thing with presets, thing with presets is you cannot choose two presets at a time. You can only choose one at a time. So for example, if you choose to undervolt your GPU, you cannot choose overclock VRAM as well. You can only choose one or the other. And that's basically it. I have SAM enabled. So Horizon Zero Dawn. It's already configured. Idea here is if I launch Horizon, it'll load this profile here. And what I have here is, so here's the thing with the profile. Let's create a new profile. Let's make one for control. Let's go to storage, program files, Steam, and uh, what's the next one? Steam apps. Common, control, the one for DX12. There you go. I'll choose that game here. Click on add. Now it's in here. Uh, Let me load a game profile. It's actually already here. Gaming. Um, Here's the thing with overclocking. As you guys may already know, but some people might not. So uh, creating one profile as your gaming profile may not actually work 100% of the time, meaning this profile here might work with most of my games, but it may not work with, let's say, Cyberpunk. So if that's the case, you may have to tweak your frequency here, your VRAM frequency there, something like that. Whatever makes the system stable, right? So that's basically it. So you may actually have a bunch of profiles here. So I actually only have four, which is one for my video editing, for my mining, gaming, and for control. I said I chose control in particular because, like for example, my gaming profile, with it works fine with Horizon and Cyberpunk, but for some reason, with the same profile, my system's crashing when I use the same profile for control. So I had to lower my frequency a bit, lower my VRAM tuning a bit, and just so that my system becomes stable, something like that. So you may experience the same or similar. You may have similar experience, so that's how you do it. Just save a different profile for some games or the other. You know what I mean. And another thing with GPU configuration in regards to frequency is the clock speed. Like for example, if you set minimum, because like in MSI Afterburner, you only get to set one. There's only one slider, right, for MSI Afterburner, and that's basically it. But with AMD Radeon Software, it gives a bit more flexibility. Like for example, you set it to 2679, and the minimum clock is 700 megahertz. So it'll operate within this range here. So basically, you're allowing the system to throttle a bit. So for example, in this profile here, my my clock will actually stabilize somewhere around 2500 megahertz, something like that, depending on my temperature. So if you want to have a bit more aggressive clock speed, you could reduce this. You could reduce the difference a bit more. So maybe somewhere like that. It should have. It has a minimum difference though. Minimum is 100. So for example, if you set this to 2400 and you set this to 2450, a bit aggressive in my opinion, like that. And if you apply the changes, it should have a minimum of 100 megahertz difference, something like that. So this is as low as you could get with Radeon software. 2400 megahertz for the minimum, 2500 for the maximum. So it'll operate within that range there. So yeah. So like for example, if I in my global settings here, um, custom, we enable that one, and advanced control, we enable that one, 2644. If I make this 2500 and make this like that, and if I apply the change, it'll default to this one here. And I'm not sure if you guys could see, my clock speed right now is at 2508, which is being shown. It's not being shown. Let's open let's see what the frequency here is. Uh, GPU clock 2508. So I'm forcing it to operate in that frequency there. It goes well below, but you get the idea. So if you want to have a bit more aggressive, again, to be a bit more aggressive, again, just lessen the difference here. But otherwise, I will just discard the changes, reset this one to default, and just undervolt my GPU. Click on proceed. 1125 millivolts. I'm good with this one for my global profile. For your gaming profile, well, you know what to do. So that's basically it. Let me show you. Let me close this real quick so that it'll just refresh. Let me close this one as well. Let me minimize this one. But um, there you go. Let me open it again. All right, still in global tuning. Let me minimize it again. Let's launch, hit Film Express, and it should load the profile for this one, right? So let's open it real quick. OBS is currently active. It will shut down. What was that about? No. Okay, now Hit Film Express is open. Now, if we go back to AMD software, it should go to custom, and it's not showing Hit Film Express, but this is actually the settings I have for Hit Film Express. If I go to home, go back to okay. If I go to home, it's actually showing here. Uh, it has the profile for Hit Film Express loaded. So if I go back here, tuning, it doesn't show it still. Anyway, at the very least, it's showing my overclock settings for Hit Film Express. And going back, if I exit from here and if I launch this one again, it should go back to my global profile. Okay. I didn't click anything. It just went to this one automatically. So this is what I mean. It launches profile more consistently. Well, more consistently than the softwares I've been using previously. So that's basically it. And I just wanted to show you guys this one. And I hope some of you guys find this helpful. And me personally, 6600 XT for its price, I find it really impressive together with this software here. I've actually, most of the numbers here, like, let me show you my mining. This one here, when I first bought this video card, I was using Afterburner as well. And basically the numbers here came from MSI Afterburner, and I just forced myself into learning this software, and I find it actually very helpful. And yeah, I hope you guys find it as helpful as I did. So there you go. And shortly after this, I'll show you a recording or gameplay capture with this 6600 XT. But basically, that would be it. And as always, I hope you like this video. Hit like or dislike. It'll help me a lot. And yeah, see you in the next one. All right, so here it is, guys. Control. Let me just show you the options real quick. Full screen. And I have it set on custom. Actually, it's on high, but I just disabled film grain and motion blur, but basically, uh, those are the options there. Ray tracing, being an AMD card, obviously I have ray tracing off. I'm not really into ray tracing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And the encoder I'm using is the one from AMD, AVC Encoder. And you could actually improve your FPS a bit if you choose, like, if you have a capture card or maybe or if you use your CPU as your software encoding, you know. And what else? I've actually played this game already before recording this thing. Uh, I actually noticed about an average of 5 FPS drop because I'm using AMD's encoder. But without recording, normally I'm averaging 55. I'm hitting 55 FPS minimum. So that's the least FPS I get. And otherwise, right now I'm getting 46, 40 FPS. Without me recording, again, I'm getting 50, 55. But right now, gameplay is really smooth. I'm not noticing any stutter, you know. Um, I forgot how to heal myself. It's been a while since I last played this game. I'm just waiting for all the enemies to show up. I'm trying to lower my FPS count still. But yeah. So with the recording going on, the least I got was 41 FPS. So again, gameplay is still really smooth. But with NVIDIA NVENC encoder, I think the drop in FPS is lesser noticeable. if you know what I mean. But I may be wrong. Anyway, hey, 43 FPS now. Whoops. Dang it, I'm about to die. I forgot to heal myself. I believe I can heal myself only if I know how to. Anyway. I'm dead. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the demo. And there you have it. Being a 6600 XE, an entry card as of now, uh, for its price, I'm really impressed by it. Gameplay is really good. I can play Cyberpunk with this. Uh, Obviously not in ultra settings, but very playable. Graphics fine. Everything's good. I'm really impressed by it again. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you like this demo. Again, hit like or dislike. It'll help me a lot. And as always, see you in the next one. Bye.